think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet apart, and they were arrested. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime.
Grooming gangs on campus of TCS, one of India's largest companies, targeted Hindu women, mocked Hindu gods, and sexually exploited these women over a long period of time. It was an undercover operation that busted the grooming gangs of Nasik. We have more details coming up. Exclusive details on This Is Exclusive, 7 p.m.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
थोड़े में ज़्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आग और मसाला।
End of the Nitish era in Bihar, as Samrat Chaudhary has now been named as the new Chief Minister of the state, set to take oath tomorrow. As more testimonies of victims in Nasik grooming gang scandal come to light, pattern of corporate jihad emerges in the case. TCS says its COO to lead the investigation in the grooming scandal scam. Now questions emerge over transparency as TCS to probe TCS now. Nine victims in Nasik case go public with details. Instances of harassment, forced conversion, abuse, molestation come to light. Despite government agreeing to demands of workers, fresh cases of violence and arson reported in several areas of Delhi NCR today. Toolkit now emerges in Delhi NCR riot case. Republic accesses WhatsApp chat showing how people were mobilized for inciting unrest. As a riot toolkit now comes to light, UP Chief Minister hints at Pakistan hand being linked to the protests across Delhi NCR. All right, here's the top focus in the state of Bihar now. Of course, Arnab Goswami has been named as the new chief minister. He will be taking oath tomorrow. And now Republic, in fact, has accessed some exclusive visuals right after the NDA meet. And BJP's first CM was, in fact, named as the leader of its legislative party. Now, we're getting you these exclusive visuals, in fact, of the NDA meet right after Samrat Chaudhary was named as the new chief minister. He is all set to take the oath tomorrow as the era of Nitish Kumar, in fact, comes to an end. And these exclusive visuals, you can see, in fact, Nitish Kumar just standing up beside Samrat Chaudhary. Political change now underway in the state. You also have Shivraj Chauhan, in fact, at the meet as now Nitish Kumar passes this baton to Samrat Chaudhary, all set to become BJP's first chief minister in the state. And these are some exclusive visuals that Republic has now accessed from the NDA meet that took place after the announcement of Samrat Chaudhary being named as the leader of Bihar's legislative party. In fact, we'll show you some more visuals also which are coming to light. All exclusive visual that Republic, in fact, has accessed from this NDA meet right after Samrat Chaudhary was announced as the new chief minister of the state. He will be taking oath tomorrow as Bihar's new chief minister. And this is an end of an era as Nitish Kumar now passes the baton, in fact, to Samrat Chaudhary, all set to become BJP's first chief minister in the state. Now, he's had, in fact, a rigorous political journey, initially associated with RJD and JDU. He switched back to BJP in 2014. Has also been BJP's state president in Bihar. And now, of course, at the helm, at the leadership helm, set to become the chief minister after Nitish Kumar is now moving away from Bihar politics and entering Rajya Sabha. All right, viewers, in fact, after 2 decades, Nitish Kumar era has come to an end in Bihar. Somebody who had become the face of Bihar politics and now is stepping away from the politics of the state and entering the upper house of the parliament. BJP has now named Samrat Chaudhary as the new chief minister of Bihar.
नीतीश कुमार के चॉइस है या बीजेपी के चॉइस है?
देखिए, ये आपका सवाल बहुत बेमानी है। आज वो बीजेपी के नेता हैं, उप मुख्यमंत्री रहे। आज पार्टी ने सर्वानुमति से उनको मुख्यमंत्री बनाया है। वो मिलकर साथ में और काम करेंगे। नीतीश जी का आशीर्वाद रहेगा और नरेंद्र मोदी का आशीर्वाद।
सम्राट चौधरी एनडीए के नए मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पर काम करेंगे। कल उनका शपथ ग्रहण होगा और फिर जो मार्गदर्शन मिला है माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, माननीय अमित शाह जी का और माननीय नीतीश जी का, उस मार्गदर्शन में आगे चलते रहेंगे और बिहार को विकास के ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचाएंगे।
पहली बार बीजेपी का सीएम और बड़े भाई की भूमिका में बीजेपी आ रही है, छोटे भाई की भूमिका में जेडीयू।
ये स्वागत योग्य कदम है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए खुशी का पल है, भावुक पल है। बहुत सपना देखा था हमारे पुरखों ने उन सपनों को साकार आज होते हुए देखने का काम किया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने संघर्ष किया, बलिदान दिया, और आज उन सब का बलिदान, उन सबको श्रद्धांजलि भी है। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बन गई।
लेकिन इस उपलब्धि के पीछे नीतीश कुमार का बलिदान भी है। नीतीश कुमार ने कुर्सी छोड़ी।
नीतीश कुमार जी को सैल्यूट करता हूँ। जो उन्होंने बिहार की जनता के लिए किया वो अद्भुत रहा भाई। बिहार तो बिल्कुल अंधकार में था 2005 के पहले। उस अंधकार को आप लोगों ने एहसास किया होगा, और 2005 के बाद जो नीतीश कुमार के नेतृत्व वाली सरकार बनी एनडीए की, वो प्रकाश 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 हो गया। विकास 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 हुआ। जो विनाश हो गया था उस विनाश की घड़ी से निकाला और विकास की घड़ी में पहुंचाया। नीतीश कुमार जी कोई भूलेगा?
नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में बिहार ने जो विकास, बिहार की गति, विकास की गति उन्होंने दी थी। अब एक ऐसे योग्य, अनुभवी और कुशल नेता सम्राट चौधरी के नेतृत्व में नीतीश जी के जो सपने थे उसको और तेज गति से पूरा करेंगे।
सम्राट चौधरी क्यों? मतलब ये लोग समझना चाह रहे हैं।
नहीं, एनडीए पहले था, आज भी एनडीए है। हाँ। एनडीए, नीतीश कुमार जी बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री रहे एनडीए के, और फिर उनके जाने के बाद एनडीए का दूसरा व्यक्ति मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में आया है।
बीजेपी का पहला सीएम, इसे आप नहीं, बीजेपी के लिए तो एक बड़ी
एनडीए का दूसरा सीएम,
एनडीए का दूसरा सीएम,
पहला नीतीश जी और दूसरा नहीं, एक बीच में
मांझी जी बीच में आ गए
थे और फिर सम्राट।
लेकिन एक बात तो तय है कि बीजेपी के लिए अब यहाँ से एक बड़े भाई की भूमिका निभाने वाली
नहीं, ये बात तय है कि एनडीए बिहार के विकास की गति को और तेज करेगा।
सम्राट जी को लेकर क्या कहेंगे?
सम्राट जी होंगे, नीतीश जी के कामों को आगे ले जाएंगे। एनडीए की सरकार थी, एनडीए की सरकार रहेगी।
सम्राट जी को लेकर क्या कहेंगे?
सम्राट जी होंगे, नीतीश जी के कामों को आगे ले जाएंगे। एनडीए की सरकार थी, एनडीए की सरकार रहेगी।
Now, in fact, Tejasvi Yadav has reacted to this, a big political development in the state, saying that Bihar government is not being run by the people who were chosen by the voters or chosen by the people, but rather by Gujarat. In fact, he also goes on to say that Nitish Kumar used to follow Gandhian principles, he used to follow Gandhiji, but now Bihar is being run by the people who abuse Mahatma Gandhi, who abuse Karpuri Thakur, as well as follow Nathuram Godse, who became... In fact, this is the statement coming in from Tejasvi Yadav. Let's take a listen.
तो इस्तीफा दे रहे हैं, तो जो महात्मा गांधी के जो लोग हत्यारे हैं उनकी विचारधारा वाली पार्टी को स्थापित कर रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री जी तो बापू का नाम लेते थे, लेकिन अब उन्होंने भाजपा को दे दिया मौका। जो नाथुराम गॉडसे वगैरह हैं उनकी विचारधारा वाली पार्टी को बिहार में इन्होंने दी। जो कर्पूरी जी को गाली देते थे जो लोग, उनको स्थापित कर रहे हैं।
बिहार में अब नई सरकार का गठन हो रहा है, आप लोगों की रणनीति क्या रहेगी सरकार को?
देखिए, कोई भी सरकार हो, जनता का चुनाव हुआ सरकार नहीं है। कोई भी मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा, जनता का चुनाव नहीं है।
सम्राट चौधरी का नाम सर आगे आ रहा है मुख्यमंत्री के लिए, समझा?
अरे भाई, जो भी हैं लालू जी के पाठशाला के तो हैं। बीजेपी को भी अब राजनीति करनी पड़ रही है, तो लालू जी के विचारधारा के इर्द गिर्द ही राजनीति करनी पड़ रही है। तो ये बात तो सब लोग जानते हैं। अब आरजेडी पहली बार लालू जी ने ही मंत्री बनाया, विधायक बनाया, तो उन्हीं के पाठशाला के हैं लोग। चाहे कोई हो, सब लोग तो ज़्यादातर यही इन्हीं के स्कूल के लोग हैं। खैर, जो भी बात है, लेकिन एक बात तो स्पष्ट है ना कि जनता का मुहर तो नहीं लगा, और जो भी मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा, बिहार जो है गुजरात से चलेगा।
All right, viewers, now shifting away from Bihar politics and coming to Indian Air Force. Now, Indian Air Force is upgrading its MiG-29 fighter squadron with new missile systems. This upgrade would essentially double its range to about 25 kilometers and would boost India's air power capability, giving it an edge in dogfights. Take a look at this report.
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology. Once the pilot locks on and fires, the missile finds the target on its own, even if the jet turns away to dodge enemy fire. It also works with helmet-mounted displays, so the pilot can just look at the enemy plane through the visor and the missile follows the eyes. This high off-bore sight ability lets the jet attack from strange angles without turning the whole plane first. This upgrade matters a lot because the region stays tense. Pakistan flies JF-17 jets with modern PL-10 missiles that reach farther and lock on quicker. China uses even better systems on its J-20 stealth fighters and other planes. In a real dogfight, the old MiG-29 with R-73 could lose the first shot. With ASRAAM, the Indian pilots get longer reach, faster lock, and higher chance to survive. The missile also works well against low-flying drones that are hard to see on radar. Many experts see drone swarms as the new big threat in air wars, and this upgrade gives the MiG-29 a strong answer. The ASRAAM already proved itself on Indian planes. The Air Force fitted it successfully on the homemade LCA Tejas and the Jaguar fighters. Those tests went smooth, so putting it on the MiG-29 UPG is a natural next step. The request includes new launchers, special tools, testing equipment, and training for ground crews and pilots. Once the work finishes, the whole fleet will get the missiles step by step. This keeps the MiG-29 useful for many more years until newer Indian planes, like more Tejas and the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, join in big numbers. Upgrading the existing MiG-29 fleet saves huge money compared to buying fresh fighters from abroad. It also shows a smart way of mixing technology. India still uses Russian planes but adds Western weapons when they fit better. After supply problems from global sanctions, this diversification makes sure the Air Force never runs short of parts or missiles. The MiG-29 UPG with ASRAAM now matches the close combat power of top Western jets like the Eurofighter or Rafale. Pilots who fly the MiG-29 love its speed and quick turns. With the new missile, the plane stays agile but hits harder and from safer distance. In modern wars full of electronic jamming and surprise attacks, this extra edge can decide who wins.
And now viewers, shifting focus to what's happening in Delhi NCR. Now for the past 2 days, several incidents of protests have been reported from several pockets, including Noida, Bulandshahr, Manesar as well as Ghaziabad. All of these areas have witnessed incidents of arson, violence, vandalism was reported, and even clashes that took place between police and protesters. But now a toolkit has come to light showing that these were not spontaneous demonstrations taking place in several pockets of Delhi NCR, but in fact were coordinated, pre-planned demonstrations. Now Republic in fact has accessed audio as well as a WhatsApp chat showing how protesters were mobilized overnight. They were added in several WhatsApp groups. Instructions were given to these workers to incite unrest in Uttar Pradesh. Now we're looking at several incidents being reported all across Delhi NCR. We're getting you visuals in fact how these violent protests unfolded in the Delhi NCR region. You have several vehicles getting vandalized, stones being pelted by these protesters as well as vehicles being torched on the streets. Now all of these actions are being taken by protesters were in fact pre-planned. They were coordinated overnight by several groups, and now the toolkit is out and it looks like there was a conspiracy in fact all along working behind these violent protests. And Republic has also accessed several WhatsApp chats and audio which shows how there was a riot toolkit at play. In fact, we'll play that WhatsApp chat for you to show you how these protests were mediated, how these protesters were mobilized overnight to cause unrest in the region.
कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों को होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है, तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है। कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों को होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है, तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है। कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों को होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है, तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है।
Noida Police Commissioner. In fact, Noida Police Commissioner has now reacted to these developments taking place all across Delhi NCR, how these protesters were mobilized overnight and in fact given instructions by several groups to incite unrest in the state. Take a listen.
Yesterday, 83 places witnessed labour unrest and more than 42,000 labour were on road. However, only at 2 places the agitation turned violent. The police deployed whatever was minimum use of force and brought the situation under control immediately. However, 7 FIRs were registered yesterday and more than 300 people were arrested from the spots. These FIRs also include the social media handles, the platforms and the channels who have been instigating the labour agitation to turn violent. Some investigation and preliminary inquiry reports are already with us, and that has hinted at a deep-rooted conspiracy against this labour agitation. This is not a normal spontaneous labour agitation. There are factors behind this who have been instigating them by the use of technology.
And since you said that these protesters, these anti-social elements have been present in multiple localities across India, is there a possibility that police forces across different states might join this investigation?
We will bring this investigation to a fair and logical conclusion, and we will proceed against such kind of nefarious elements in a very stringent way. All legal processes will be followed, and certain of them have been identified, certain of them are absconding. We will also look into the funding behind these outfits, and we will find out as to where such kind of technology and the use of a call center for creating such accounts has been funded from.
Has any kind of violence been erupted in Noida this morning, since earlier this morning? And what steps are being ensured to prevent such kind of violent incidents to take place later?
Today we have identified various hotspots, and we have divided the entire industrial zone across Gautam Budh Nagar district into 36 various sectors, where not only gazetted officers, a contingent of civil police, PAC and RAF have been deployed. They have been on flag march and they have been regularly patrolling their sectors since 5 AM in the morning. There has been no major agitation today.
I would like to first of all make an appeal. मैं सभी समस्त श्रमिक भाई बहन, सभी इंडस्ट्रीज़ वाले सभी से ये अनुरोध करूँगी कि गौतम बुद्ध नगर की जो सौहार्दपूर्ण वातावरण है, जो हमारा पीसफुल लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को मेंटेन करते हुए हम सभी उसके लिए इक्वली रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, तो सभी से मेरी अपील है कि शांति व्यवस्था को मेंटेन रखें। इसके साथ साथ मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी का और हाई पावर्ड कमेटी का कि श्रमिकों की जो मेन मांग थी उसे मान लिया गया है, वेतन को बढ़ा दिया गया है। इसके साथ साथ और भी कई सारे निर्देश दिए गए हैं, जैसे कि जो बढ़ा हुआ वेतन है वो जो है समय 10 तारीख से पहले खाते में आ जाए एक मुश्त। इसके साथ साथ सालाना बोनस नवंबर से पहले दिया जाए सभी को। जो यौन उत्पीड़न समिति है उसका गठन हो, उसकी अध्यक्षता भी महिलाएं करेंगी। इसके साथ साथ जितनी श्रमिकों की शिकायतें हैं, शिकायतें पेटी भी रहेगी हर इंडस्ट्री में। और हम लोगों ने भी कंट्रोल रूम के नंबर्स जारी किए हैं, उस कंट्रोल रूम के नंबर पर भी शिकायत अपने श्रमिक भाई बहन दे सकते हैं। साथ में कलेक्ट्रेट के भी दरवाजे खुले हैं। किसी भी प्रकार की कोई भी समस्या हम लोग उसको त्वरित रूप से कार्रवाई करेंगे। एक बार पुनः अपील सभी से कि शांति व्यवस्था को मेंटेन किया जाए।
2 दिन पहले शाम को आपने एक पोस्ट डाला था ट्विटर पे जिसमें आपने अपील की थी कि ये प्रोटेस्ट वायलेंट ना हो, और उसी के अगले दिन सुबह दंगे शुरू हो जाते हैं नोएडा में इसी प्रोटेस्ट के अंदर। तो क्या कोई इनपुट था या कोई जानकारी थी कि कोई बाहर के तत्व आके इस प्रोटेस्ट को वायलेंट बनाने वाले हैं?
देखिए, ये पूरी तहकीकात करी जा रही है एंड इसमें वायलेंस इज़ नेवर द आंसर। वायलेंस के ऊपर कार्रवाई करी जाएगी और करी जा भी रही है। तो मेरा पुनः सभी से अपील है कि शांति व्यवस्था को मेंटेन रखा जाए।
तो मैम, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन को बनाए रखने के लिए आपने क्या करा है?
देखिए, हमारे सेक्टर और जोनल मजिस्ट्रेट्स भी तैनात है। साथ में जितनी भी हमारा एक अलग से भी कंट्रोल रूम सिर्फ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को मेंटेन करने के लिए बना हुआ है, उस पर जो भी शिकायतें आ रही है, इंडस्ट्रीज़ वाले या श्रमिक भाई बहन जो भी चीज़ें कह रहे हैं, कंट्रोल रूम हमारा ऑलरेडी एक्टिवेटेड है। अगर आपके भी सामने कोई भी समस्या आती है, आप भी जो है बेझिझक हमारे कंट्रोल रूम नंबर्स पे बताइए।
मेरा आखिरी क्वेश्चन ये है कि जितने भी बाहर के अराजक तत्व आके उन्होंने वायलेंस फैलाया है, उनके खिलाफ सरकार क्या एक्शन लेगी?
देखिए, वायलेंस इज नेवर द आंसर एंड वायलेंस पे बिल्कुल कार्रवाई होगी।
Gangs on campus of TCS, one of India's largest companies, targeted Hindu women, mocked Hindu gods, and sexually exploited these women over a long period of time. It was an undercover operation that busted the grooming gangs of Nasik. We have more details coming up. Exclusive details on this is exclusive 7 p.m.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
We are entering a very dangerous inflection point in this war. From here in onwards, either things could escalate beyond control or there could be a surprise ceasefire. He is very fond of trying to make the world hang on to his every word, pearls of wisdom, but the last speech was a great disappointment. Everybody was hoping that he would announce an off-ramp, a ceasefire, and then finish this war, because the world is sick and tired of the shenanigans of Donald Trump and his mad capers, his insane wars in the Middle East, which have created a global economic disaster which will worsen by the day, by every day that this war continues beyond its use-by date. It is only heading towards greater destruction of the global economy. The simple fact is, Donald Trump used the worst expletives possible to show his frustration, to show his extreme annoyance and irritation at Iran as to why Iran was not surrendering. Iran told him simply, you may be finished, we are not, and we will continue to fight. And don't give us through Pakistan a set of terms of surrender. Lay down your arms.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा सिप असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
अभी तो कह रहा था कि अभी चीफ मिनिस्टर कह रहे थे, उससे आगे भी सभी लोग कह रहे थे कि मणिपुर में पीस आ गया। ये पीस है क्या? अगर ये पीस है तो हमें ये पीस नहीं चाहिए हमें।
ये बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट 1:05 में हुआ है। उसमें 2 बच्चे का जान गया है। 2 बच्चा, एक 5 साल का है, एक लड़की है वो तो 5 महीना का है। ये बहुत छह इंसिडेंट है। उसका माँ भी अभी भी इंजर्ड है, हॉस्पिटल में ट्रीटमेंट के लिए घायल तरीके से इंजर्ड है। ये आतंकवादी लोग हम लोग को टारगेट कर रहा है, मैती लोग को। इसलिए सरकार से विनती है जल्द से ये घटना के सॉल्यूशन चाहिए। इसके लिए इंसाफ चाहिए।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching Verdict 2026 with me, Rakshita Mishra, and in the next 25 minutes, we're going to get you a lowdown of the high voltage campaign that is underway right now from Tamil Nadu to West Bengal and the newsmakers of the day. We're going to encapsulate all of that on this show, and we also have some important news coming in, some breaking news coming in from Chhattisgarh. But first, the headlines. Tamil Nadu BJP manifesto promises 2,000 rupees monthly aid to women, free LPGs, and Thaipusam to be state festival. AIADMK files complaint against DMK over alleged violation of Model Code of Conduct, urges the ECI to take action. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister warns of massive protest over centre's decision on delimitation. An ED summons wife and brother of Prateek Jain, the co-founder of IPAC, for questioning in connection with money laundering case. And Home Minister Amit Shah vows to resolve the Gorkha issue in the Darjeeling Hills in a constitutional manner. He says without that he'll do it without dividing West Bengal. Okay, we are starting with the big news coming in from Chhattisgarh. 9 people have been killed, 15 injured in an explosion at a power plant in Chhattisgarh. 9 workers have been killed, 15 others have been injured in Chhattisgarh's Sakti district. Some workers are feared trapped as well at the site. And according to preliminary information, the blast occurred in a boiler tube at the Vedanta Limited Power Plant in Singitarai village in the afternoon. All right, the visuals are coming in right now, viewers, from Sakti. You can see it's a power plant, and it's an explosion that has been reported from that power plant. And it's a huge, mammoth plume of smoke that you can see right now. And that's a very worrisome. Already 9 people have been confirmed dead. 15 are injured at the power plant, and 15 have been injured. Many feared trapped on the site. So viewers, we do not know the reason behind this explosion yet, but what we understand as per the preliminary information is that there is that the boiler tube, the blast occurred at a boiler tube at this Vedanta Limited power plant in the afternoon. So that's a great cause of concern. This is coming in from Chhattisgarh. This is a power plant, as you can see, the huge plume of smoke after the explosion. And we'll just try and get you more updates. Several feared trapped right now, as this has happened in Chhattisgarh. And viewers, as per the police, many are trapped, feared trapped, and 9 have died. Local administration police teams rushed to the spot after receiving information, and injured have been shifted to nearby hospitals. Bharat is joining us on the broadcast. Bharat, हमें बताएं कि क्या कुछ जानकारी सामने आ रही है इस ब्लास्ट को लेकर?
देखिए, बिल्कुल जिस तरीके से जानकारी बाहर निकल के आ रही थी कि जिस तरीके से जो बड़ी फैक्ट्री है उस इलाके पे अगर कहीं ना कहीं जो जिस तरीके से प्लांट हुआ था, जिस तरीके से वहाँ ब्लास्ट हुआ है, इस ब्लास्ट में कई जो लोग हैं वो गंभीर रूप से घायल हो गए हैं। तो जिसकी जवाबदेही तय होती है आखिरकार, अगर वो पूरी तरीके से सुनिश्चित करते उस पूरे इलाके को और मुआयना किया जाता तो शायद इस तरह की घटना घटित नहीं होती। कई लोग घायल हैं, कईयों की स्थितियां हैं जो गंभीर बता रही है। ऐसे में एक बड़ा जो प्रश्न है उनके ऊपर भी जो है वो खड़ा हो नजर आ रहा है, जवाबदेही तय होती है। एक नहीं, 2 नहीं, लगातार दर्जनों से अधिक लोगों जो है है उसकी चपेट में आए हैं, जो एक बड़ा लास्ट की तरह जा रहा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं सर प्लांट के जो जवाबदेही जिनकी होती, जो मैनर है, जो आलान है, जो तय करती स्थिति नॉर्मल या फिर स्थितियां विपरीत है, तो उनके ऊपर कहीं जो एक सवाल है उत्पन्न होते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। लेकिन सियासत ये है वो देखने को मिली है। वहीं स्तर पर जो अधिकारी हैं, जो स्थानीय जो लोग हैं, उनके बीच में भी एक चकविषय इन दिनों देखने को मिल रहा है इन विषयों को लेकर।
जी, all right, Bharat, just stay with us. This is the update we are getting in right now. Few workers fear trap. अगर भारत आप बता सकते हैं क्या कुछ और जानकारी सामने आ रही है, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों के अभी भी फंसे होने की बात जो है वो पुलिस के हवाले से सामने आ रही है।
देखिए, बिल्कुल जिस तरीके से अभी जिस तरीके का जो माहौल की अगर बात की जाए, तो फिर मैं ये बताया जाए कुछ लोगों के और भी जो ट्री के अंदर ही फंसे उनको रेस्क्यू किया गया है। तो कहीं ना जो सवाल है वो उत्पन्न होते हुए आ रहा है, लेकिन अधिकारी पर जिनकी जवाबदेही है वो अधिकारी है, वो इस पे किसी भी तरीके से क्लैरिफिकेशन करते हुए जवाब देते हुए नजर नहीं आ रहा। तो एक बड़ा जो सवाल है सिस्टम के ऊपर भी उठते हुए नजर आ रहा है। बताया जा रहा है जो खुफिया सूत्र है, जो जानकारी बाहर निकल के आ रही है, कुछ लोग और भी हैं जो फैक्ट्री के अंदर फंसे हैं, जिनको रेस्क्यू प्रशासन के द्वारा दी गई है। तो कहीं ना सवाल जो प्रश्न चिन्ह है वो भी सवाल उत्पन्न होता नजर आ रहा है। फिलहाल जो आंकड़े की अगर की जाए तो बहुत से ऐसे लोग हैं, आंकड़े की क्लैरिफिकेशन नहीं हो पा रही है कि कितने लोग हैं। बताया जा रहा है कि 12 लोग हैं, कुछ ये कह रहे हैं कि 14 लोग हैं, कुछ ये कह रहे हैं कि 15 लोग हैं। तो आंकड़े को लेके भी अभी भी आधिकारिक तौर पे पुष्टि नहीं की जा रही है। तो बड़ा ये सोचने वाली और गंभीर विषय बात निकल के आती है कि अगर आंकड़े ही स्पष्ट नहीं हो पाए तो सवाल बहुत उठेंगे, क्योंकि अंदर कुछ जो ग्रामीण है उनकी जो मौजूदगी की जो सूचना है वो बाहर निकल के अब भी आ रही है। जी
बने रहिए हमारे साथ, क्योंकि मुख्यमंत्री की भी जो अभी स्टेटमेंट है वो सामने आ रही है। व्यूअर्स विल जस्ट गो अक्रॉस टू दैट साउंड बाइट ऑफ विष्णु देव साय हु हैज रिएक्टेड टू द इंसिडेंट।
और इस दुख की घड़ी में संवेदना हम लोगों की उनके परिवार के साथ में है, और जो भी मृतक हैं उनकी आत्मा को भगवान शांति दे, और इसकी जांच होगी, और जांच में जो भी दोषीदार पाए जाएंगे उनके ऊपर कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। घटना दुखद है।
All right, viewers, now we shift our focus to the verdict 2026 ahead of the assembly polls in Tamil Nadu. BJP today released its manifesto assuring a monthly assistance of 2,000 rupees to all women heads of households and a one-time sum of 10,000 rupees to every household. Now, the party has promised 3 LPG cylinders free of cost, each on the occasions of Pongal and Tamil Putandu and Deepavali. Now, the party also announces that it will declare Thaipusam as the state festival to honor Lord Murugan, and will ensure that the tradition of lighting the Kartigai Deepam is resumed and protected through the years. Now, this of course comes as Justice Swaminathan's order directed that the ceremonial lamp be lit on the Deepathun located atop the hill. And this has led to a tussle between the ruling DMK, denied the permission, remember, and the BJP, which demanded that the devotees be allowed to light the lamp atop the hill. And in fact, viewers, we've seen that these are multiple promises. These are big ticket promises that have been made by BJP. Take a look at this report for more.
The BJP has rolled out its Tamil Nadu election manifesto, promising a mix of welfare schemes and governance reforms. Among key promises, Rs 2,000 monthly aid for women heads of households, along with 3 free LPG cylinders every year. The party has also announced a one-time Rs 10,000 assistance for households to offset the rising cost of living. In a cultural outreach, the BJP has promised dedicated darshan slots for local residents in major temples and continuation of key religious traditions. On the governance front, the party has promised stronger policing, including zero FIR implementation, fast-track courts and increased CCTV surveillance in public areas. Launching a direct attack on the ruling DMK, BJP leader JP Nada alleges rising crime, corruption and family rule in the state.
When I talk about the present situation, when I talk about the present government, when I talk about the DMK government and its allies, I find that this cultural capital has now been converted into a crime capital. And that we have to understand, that it is now converted into a crime capital. And when I say so, the Tamil Nadu or the Tamil state itself did not fail at any point of time. But it is the DMK who made it fail the Tamil Nadu on all fronts. That's what we have to understand. And when I say what the pulse of the people is, that the whole state, there is full of resentment against DMK, against this dynastic family rule, and against the crime and corruption, and against its allies also. It's full of resentment, which I find.
He also claims a sharp increase in drug-related offences, positioning BJP's manifesto as a roadmap for better governance and security in the state. So with a strong mix of welfare promises and political attacks, the BJP is now attempting to reshape the electoral narrative in Tamil Nadu, setting the stage for a high-stakes contest.
My colleague Shraddha joins us live in the broadcast from Chennai. So, Shraddha, there are some really big promises that have been made today from the BJP. How do you see this, the impact? What has been the idea behind this entire manifesto?
Well, the manifesto team releasing it today announced major plans that were already given by the AIADMK and also the major plans given by the central government. Combining them both is what the BJP is now given as their manifesto promises, ranging in 14 different sectors and 67 promises by the BJP. Seems to be a combination of what the AIADMK has already promised and says that these promises would be taken into account following they come to power. The AIADMK's the General Secretary at a party decides who this manifesto will be promised to according to the amount of money, that 2,000 rupees to all the women running the household, and also 10,000 as one-time settlement promised by the BJP is already the plan under the AIADMK. So as we see today's plan, the main convention that the BJP has been looking at is making sure the Hindu temples are maintained well. Coming towards the other options that they had in their manifesto was how developing tourism in the state of Tamil Nadu. Majorly about the temple tours that has been organized on the whole by the government would be developed much more. Another promise that looks very interesting is them promising that the Deepam will be lit on the Tirupura-Kundram hill. As we remember, the DMK did not allow the lamp to be lit on top of the hill on the Deepatun after the order was passed by the Madras High Court, and now BJP is saying that they promised to light the lamp, bring back the old tradition from the Madurai Hill, the Tirupura-Kundram Hill, where they'll be lighting the lamp, and also making Thaipusam as the state holiday, which is for Lord Muruga. Tamil Nadu always being surrounded with the Tamil god Murugan. They want to make Thaipusam a state festival and make it a state holiday as well. The manifesto was majorly aimed at bringing the center schemes, especially the schemes that are already being run by the BJP in the center, with more information and more funds to be bought when Tamil Nadu was the main promise, Rakshita.
All right, just stay on with us, Shraddha. We will be just bringing our viewers some more stories as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. So, the government, viewers, has convened a special session of Parliament on 16th of April. It's going to convene that session to introduce a constitution amendment bill. And on that, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin issued a warning. It was a direct warning to union government over the proposed delimitation exercise, alleging that the centre was attempting to push through a constitutional amendment without consulting the state and in the midst of ongoing elections. He also cautioned that any step that undermines the political representation of southern states will lead to widespread protests in those states. The Chief Minister put out a video message as well amidst the election campaign, saying that grave danger has now reached the doorstep of Tamil Nadu, and issued a final warning from Tamil Nadu directly to the Prime Minister. In fact, Shraddha is here with us to tell us more. Shraddha, tell us the concerns that have been raised by Stalin, and he's also warned of a wider agitation as well. He has said, he's asked for an assurance that there should be nothing done without consultation with the southern states.
Well, it's almost a year that M.K. Stalin and his government has been fighting over the delimitation topic. While the topic was not brought into the bills is when the DMK already started their protest back in 2025. Now, again, with the elections coming up, the DMK is using the delimitation as their main source of campaign to the people, telling that if the NDA comes to power, the delimitation will be implemented and Tamil Nadu will lose the number of MPs. Now, with the elections coming on 23rd and a parliament session convened on the 16th to 18th of the April, the MPs of the DMK are said to miss the parliament session, making them being the campaigners in the south will surely miss the shot in voting for the bill. Apart from the women's bill, they're also worried about the delimitation bill that will be discussed. And the DMK is constantly focusing on how informing the people and alleging that the BJP would be reducing the number of member of Lok Sabha seats if the delimitation exercise in the parliament. Also pointing out that Tamil Nadu is only the state that severely followed the population two per families policy which was implemented by the government, saying there's family planning that is done all over Tamil Nadu now, saying that the delimitation be done on the population is not very fair, and also releasing a video today, M.K. Stalin directly take a hit at the BJP center, saying that it was a final warning to them that if the parliament session convened now and with the lack of the MPs from the DMK and Congress from Tamil Nadu makes them lose the number of seats in due to the delimitation process, that state government, the running state government will not be silent over this process and will take severe action. Also in the video, M.K. Stalin noted that made a huge allegation that if BJP comes to power in the state will lose its fairness among others, and also pointed out how BJP has always been anti-Tamil Nadu and would not want the state to grow.
Yeah.
Rakshita.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Shraddha, for that those details coming on the story. Meanwhile, in some more news from Tamil Nadu viewers, the AIADMK candidate for Coimbatore South, Aman Arjunan, has submitted a complaint now to the election office Coimbatore South, alleging that the DMK cadre was distributing coupons for 8,000 rupees to voters in the constituency. And according to the complaint, the DMK has put up sheds in vacant plots and go-downs in the constituency, inviting people to these places and distribute 8,000 rupees coupon. Now, the cadre also asked the beneficiaries to produce their voter ID card and family card, urging them to vote for the rising sun symbol, with an assurance that if they do so, they can buy any of the specified products for 8,000 rupees when the DMK returns to power. And when the AIADMK complained about this to the flying squads, the officials seized the coupons. And Shraddha is back with us. In fact, Shraddha, tell us about, in a concise way, what really has happened that this complaint has now been filed, and has there been any action till now?
Well, the police have taken the minor action of freezing these coupons from people who had received it. A huge allegation by the AIADMK government saying that the DMK candidate of that particular constituency had distributed the 8,000 rupee coupon, telling them on the day of voting they should vote for the rising sun symbol. This 8,000 is the fake coupon that they've been giving, which is the promise made by the DMK's, under the DMK's manifesto by M.K. Stalin, that the 8,000 cash coupon will be given to them to redeem whatever they want from the nearest store for the home appliances. So using this technique as a coupon to make sure that the people remember the promise that the DMK has given them and forcing them to vote for DMK. Now, the police are taking action to withdraw the coupons, redraw these coupons from the family that's been awarded, and AIADMK has asked the ECI take strict action against the candidate and also disqualify him as their main request.
All right. Thank you so much, Shraddha, for joining us with those details coming in on that story. Meanwhile, viewers, there is trouble what we saw for IPAC just before elections in West Bengal. Major development with political overtones. Now, ED has arrested a key figure linked to one of India's most prominent political consultancy firms. Now, Vinesh Chandel, who happens to be the director and co-founder of IPAC, has been taken into custody in a money laundering case linked to alleged coal smuggling. Now, the agency claims that the firm laundered crores of rupees with transactions worth nearly 50 crore already under the scanner. While the ED alleges a structured network of bogus invoices, cash transactions and Hawala routing, the defense has termed the case politically motivated. Here's more.
The Enforcement Directorate has now arrested Vinesh Kumar Chandel, director and co-founder of IPAC, in a money laundering case linked to alleged coal smuggling.
IPAC, which happens to be a political consultancy firm, allegedly received funds from builders and contractors, not one, multiple builders, multiple contractors. In fact, one builder has already been named in this particular probe document, in which we are given to understand unsecured interest-free loan of roughly about 13.5 crore rupees was allegedly received by IPAC.
Chandel, who holds a 33% stake in the firm, has now been remanded to 10 days of ED custody by a Delhi court. The probe, based on Delhi Police FIR, claims that proceeds of crime worth around 50 crore rupees have been detected so far. According to the ED, IPAC followed a structured modus operandi, splitting payments between legal banking channels and unaccounted cash. Investigators allege that bogus invoices were raised to justify funds received without actual consultancy services being provided. The agency also claims that over 13 crore rupees were funneled into the company accounts as unsecured and interest-free loans without proper documentation or safeguards. Further, the ED says that funds were led through banking channels while cash components were routed via informal systems including Hawala transactions. The agency alleges that directors including Chandel and others were involved in generating and laundering proceeds of crime through a coordinated financial network. However, the defense has pushed back, calling the case politically motivated and arguing that charges are being stretched to bring the matter under the PMLA. Meanwhile, Trinamool Congress leaders have demanded Chandel's immediate release, alleging misuse of central agencies. The development is significant as IPAC, founded by political strategist Prashant Kishore, is currently handling the TMC's campaign for the 2026 West Bengal elections. Further, ED has now summoned Pratik Jain's wife and his brother Pulkit Jain as well to appear in Delhi office tomorrow. With less than 10 days to West Bengal polls and serious financial allegations coming to light, the IPAC case is now fast emerging as a key flashpoint.
And AIMIM chief Assaduddin Owaisi is sharpening his political pitch in West Bengal, focusing on the Muslim-dominated constituencies in North Bengal in districts like Murshidabad. And he positions himself as an independent voice for the minority community. In fact, Owaisi goes on to accuse the Trinamool Congress and the Congress party of using Muslims merely as a vote bank without delivering real socio-economic progress for the group. Now, this comes just days after his alliance with the AJUP collapsed following a controversy involving its chief Humayun Kabir. In fact, Republic TV exclusively spoke to Assaduddin Owaisi as he also hits back at the allegations of acting as BJP's B team. We leave you with this exclusive interview.
AIMIM प्रमुख मेरे साथ हैं ओवैसी साहब। कितना मुश्किल हो गया, एक वीडियो सामने आया, कहा गया कि डील हो रही है और आप जो प्रतिनिधि जिस समुदाय का करते हैं, जिस वर्ग का करते हैं, उसको बहुत ज़्यादा बंगाल की राजनीति में अभी तक मिला नहीं है।
देखिए, वीडियो आने के बाद हमारी पार्टी ने फ़ौरन फैसला लिया, यहाँ के यूनिट से हमारी बात की है, सब मालूम किए और हमने कह दिया कि हमारा अलायंस नहीं होगा, इसलिए कि जहाँ पर अल्पसंख्यक समाज मुसलमानों की इंटीग्रिटी पर कोई सवाल करता है तो हम उनके साथ नहीं जा सकते। जहाँ तक 27% जो आबादी का हिस्सा है अल्पसंख्यक समाज मुसलमान बंगाल में, आप इनके सोशियो इकनॉमिक इंडिकेटर्स देख लीजिए, बल्कि आप तारीख उठाकर देख लीजिए कि पिछले 70 साल से इनसे इंसाफ नहीं हुआ। सिर्फ वोट के तौर पर वोटर तो इस्तेमाल किया गया, उनको ना उनके राइट्स दिए गए, ना एजुकेशन में उनका कोई हेल्प किया गया, ना उन इलाक़ों में जहाँ पर उन ब्लॉक्स में जहाँ पर 50% के ऊपर मुसलमान रहते हैं वहाँ पर आप देख लीजिए अस्पताल है या स्कूल है, सेकेंडरी प्राइमरी स्कूल का क्या चक्कर है। तो ये पिछले साल कोलकाता हाई कोर्ट ने 5 लाख ओबीसी कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट कैंसिल कर दिया, उसमें 3 लाख तो सिर्फ अल्पसंख्यक मुसलमान थे। तो सरकार ने कुछ नहीं किया। तो लगातार चाहे वो कांग्रेस की सरकार रही हो माजी में, फिर लेफ्ट फ्रंट हो, अब टीएमसी हो, इनको मुसलमान को ये लोग एज सिटीज़न नहीं देखते, सिर्फ वोटर के तौर पर देखते हैं और इस्तेमाल करते हैं।
टीएमसी कहती है कि जिन सीटों पर आप जोर दे रहे हैं, जाहिर सी बात है मुस्लिम आबादी वहाँ पर है, तो कहीं ना कहीं आप उनके वोट काटेंगे तो बीजेपी के लिए आप बी टीम का काम कर दे रहे हैं, ऐसे आरोप भी आप पर लगा रहे हैं वो।
भैया आज से कितने 27 साल पहले सबसे पहले बीजेपी के एमपी मैंने बनाया था दम से। जो एमपी था बीजेपी का ममता ने बनाया। 99 में अलायंस फिर दोबारा जिताया। आप ही ने तो बीजेपी आरएसएस को लाए यहाँ पर। आप ही ने तो कहा आरएसएस बहुत अच्छी है। आप ही ने तो 2001 में रेलवे मंत्री बने बीजेपी के साथ। फिर 2000 छोड़ दिया आपने 2001 में। फिर 2003 में आप दोबारा माइंस के मंत्री बने। आपको जब याद नहीं आया गुजरात राइट्स, बिल्किस बानो, ज़किया जाफरी, उन जो प्रोग्राम जेनोसाइड हुआ था गुजरात में, आपको याद नहीं आया? क्या बात कर रहे हैं? किसको बोल रहे हैं? आपने कभी आईने में अपना चेहरा देख लो। आप ही ने तो बीजेपी को मजबूत किया यहाँ पर। हम कहाँ थे? हम तो पिछले 5-6 साल से मेहनत कर रहे हैं और हमारा एक ही सिंगल पॉइंट हम उस पर काम करते हैं कि मुस्लिम पॉलिटिकल एजेंसी होनी चाहिए। ये देश की डेमोक्रेसी के लिए और बंगाल की डेमोक्रेसी के लिए और देश के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bengaluru.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और मसाला।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है। स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान। अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
अभी तो कह रहा था कि अभी चीफ मिनिस्टर कह रहे थे, उससे आगे भी सभी लोग कह रहे थे कि मणिपुर में पीस आ गया। ये पीस है क्या? अगर ये पीस है तो हमें ये पीस नहीं चाहिए हमें।
ये बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट 1:05 में हुआ है। उसमें 2 बच्चे का जान गया है। 2 बच्चा, एक 5 साल का है, एक लड़की है वो तो 5 महीना का है। ये बहुत छह इंसिडेंट है। उसका माँ भी अभी भी इंजर्ड है, हॉस्पिटल में ट्रीटमेंट के लिए घायल तरीके से इंजर्ड है। ये आतंकवादी लोग हम लोग को टारगेट कर रहा है, मैतेई लोग को। इसलिए सरकार से विनती है जल्द से ये घटना के सॉल्यूशन चाहिए। इसके लिए इंसाफ चाहिए।
Hꯧji kuki bom ma yum da tasle. Menang peluang kita. Asal apa nyawa houji. Yang tu nak ada nama houji. Houji asal kaya orang. Kan nama tu sore. Orang ni sore. Macam aku kere. Ini barang ni sore je. Mama ni. Barang ni sore je. Jadi panglo bibi macam bibi apa? Aku cuma tanya nak apa yang dia. Oh, cuma yang itu. Kerja lagi apa? Jadi panglo bibi macam bibi apa?
Si panglo kira.
ये घटना करीब 1:05 में ऐसे होंगे, यही घटना हुआ है। ये अभी ये नॉर्थ साइड में हमारा बहू के साथ दो बच्चा है, वो तीनों एक साथ होता है, इसमें एक घटना हुआ है।
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the latest edition of World at War at Republic. I'm Gesu Bharadwaj, and in this freshest edition, we bring you updates from around the globe, beginning with Israel-Lebanon talks to expected second mediation attempt in Islamabad. We've got you all covered with the top stories, right from South Africa to North Korea, as well as Indian talks with Israel. Let's get started. Viewers, now while US and Iran held their first round of talks in Islamabad, Washington itself is now set to host talks between Israel and Lebanon. Remember, Israel and Lebanon ceasefire was a major flashpoint in Iran-US talks, and now Washington says it will be holding talks between these two with Marco Rubio by the side also being present. Now, however, this entire thing seems like the Lebanese government and Hezbollah are not on the same page on this move, and this comes because Hezbollah's leader Naim Qassem has now urged the Lebanese government to cancel the scheduled talks in Washington, arguing that dialogue amounts to submission, surrender, and stripping Lebanon of its strength. Take a look at this detailed report for more details.
Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem, in a televised address, has rejected planned direct talks between Lebanon and Israel, calling them a surrender.
نحن نرفض المفاوضات مع الكيان الإسرائيلي الغاصب. هذه المفاوضات عبثية، وهذه المفاوضات تحتاج إلى أن يكون هناك اتفاق وإجماع لبناني على تغيير البوصلة من عدم التفاوض إلى التفاوض المباشر كما يطرح الآن. لا يحق لأحد أن يأخذ لبنان إلى هذا المسار من دون توافق داخلي لمكوناته، وهذا لم يحصل. هذا التفاوض إذعان واستسلام وتجريد للبنان من قوته. نحن ندعو، والفرصة لا زالت متاحة، إلى موقف تاريخي بطولي بإلغاء هذا اللقاء التفاوض.
Hezbollah said it will never surrender and will stay in the battlefield.
لأنه هذا العدوان ما له حل إلا الاستسلام أو المواجهة. استسلام ما فيه. إذا حدا مفكر يستسلم يروح يستسلم لحاله. أما نحن فلن نستسلم. سنبقى في الميدان حتى لو بقينا إلى آخر نفس. يا دولة رئيس الحكومة، ماذا قدم هؤلاء الذين يضغطون على لبنان منذ تشكيل حكومتك؟ كل مطالبهم منك أن تفجر الأزمات الداخلية، وأن يعطوا مبررات ومكتسبات للاحتلال، ولم يكن هناك أي دعم من أجل منع العدوان ومن أجل بناء لبنان. فلنواجه العدوان معا وبعدها نتفاهم على المستقبل ونتفاهم على كل شيء.
Qasim also asked the Lebanese government to retreat from the talks that are scheduled to take place in Washington.
يجب أن تصحح الدولة اللبنانية موقفها من إيران، من سفيرها ومن الحرس الثوري الإسلامي.
But the bigger question is whether Lebanon will be included in the ceasefire deal or not.
Viewers, now shifting focus to the war between Iran and the United States. Now, as per reports, Islamabad will once again be hosting mediation talks between the warring sides, Iran and the United States. Now, this comes after the first attempt at mediation felt completely flat with no agreement reached. And now reports are suggesting a fresh diplomatic momentum in the Gulf crisis. Now, negotiating teams from both the United States and Iran can return to Islamabad as early as this week as efforts intensify to revive stalled peace negotiations. Let's first show you a detailed report, after which we're being joined by an esteemed guest to speak about this in more details.
US and Iranian negotiating teams are likely to return for a second round of talks, and Islamabad is once again expected to host these discussions. While no date has been confirmed yet, sources indicate talks could begin as early as this weekend. Both sides are keeping multiple dates open for the next round. The previous round of negotiations ended without any major breakthrough. However, it marked the first direct engagement between the two sides in over a decade. The talks were led by top leadership from both countries, with J.D. Vance heading the US delegation while Mohammad Bakir Ghalibaf representing Iran. However, several critical issues remain unresolved between Washington and Tehran in the Islamabad talks. The Strait of Hormuz continues to be a major point of contention due to its global energy significance, and now that Trump has ordered a naval blockade, the issue becomes more complicated. Iran's nuclear program is also under intense discussion. Sanctions imposed on Tehran remain major sticking point in these negotiations. The United States has presented what it calls a final proposal. Washington is now waiting to see whether Iran will agree to these terms.
We're also being joined by Mr. Cormac Smith, who is a former British civil servant. Mr. Smith, thanks very much for speaking to Republic. Now I want to understand from you, the warring sides, United States and Iran, are looking to return on the negotiation table. Once again, the second round is set to take place in Islamabad, as per reports. But the first time around, the talks completely fell flat onto their face. There was no consequential determination to these talks at all. Negotiations reached absolutely nowhere. So this time around, what can be different, in your opinion, Mr. Smith?
So first, thank you for having me on, and it's a privilege to join you. Look, I'm thinking about this before I came on, and I'll use a cricket analogy, which I think might be well understood in India. We need to have more respect and a greater role for the umpire. What we had coming out of the last talks was we had a different version of events coming from both the Iranians and the Americans. I think we need to elevate the position of Islamabad and the Pakistani Prime Minister and their team to be the ones who have a little bit more control over these negotiations, and they should be the ones that we look to for a true account of what actually came out of them. Now, obviously, when we need the cooperation of both sides, the Iranians and the Americans, if that is to happen. But that is my initial thoughts. I didn't feel comfortable listening to either the Iranian point of view or the American point of view. I would far rather that the umpire tell me what had gone on and what indeed had been agreed.
Right, Mr. Smith, in fact, also just quickly I want to understand from you, Islamabad being at the center of this entire mediation. Now, Western media reports also suggest that they only entered to broker the deal because they were pressured from Washington. Not just that, they are not neutral if you actually look at their policies. They have a signed defense pact with Saudi Arabia, which is very much in effect. It says that if either one of these countries is struck, the other one will also retaliate. So this does not leave Islamabad in a neutral position to be able to mediate in between the warring sides at all. And of course, over the top, their comments against Israel, their comments against Jews, over their strikes in Lebanon. So what is your take on that also?
Well, it's unfortunate and it is not ideal, but we are where we are. And having Islamabad as, and I will keep using the word umpire, while it's not ideal, it's the best we have at the moment, and I'm afraid it's above my pay grade and my ability to suggest how we can go forward better. But I would suggest that we need good faith. We need more good faith from both sides. And in particular, I think we need more good faith from the Americans, because it was the Americans who started this war with Israel. And it is Donald Trump's White House where the messages seem to change on an almost hourly basis. And it is very, very hard to be clear what the objectives of this White House regime have been or what the truth behind what they are telling us is. And that from a country that was formerly the leader of the free and democratic world is a very, very big problem. I think that we need to realize that the world is in a place at the moment with the United States under this Donald Trump regime that we have not been in before. And that is a new and very, very real challenge. So yes, while I acknowledge your concerns that you have expressed about Islamabad being less than completely impartial, I still say that it is where we are, and it is the best that we can get for the time being. And without goodwill from both sides, and in particular without goodwill from the Americans, because they are the real power in this game, it's very difficult to see how we can go forward in a more positive way.
Right, Mr. Cormack, thanks very much for joining in and giving us a lowdown on that entire situation. In fact, your take was an interesting one to hear. Thanks very much for speaking to Republic. For now, viewers, shifting focus. Now, as the world tackles with the oil and economic situation resulting because of the ongoing war, China has now proposed a new diplomatic push. Xi Jinping gave a 4-point proposal for stability in the region. However, this comes after China has subtly expressed its support for Iran. Remember yesterday, reacting to Trump's blockade announcement, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that it respects its relations with Tehran, also reiterating the fact that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, it had kept it open for China specifically. And now this peace proposal aimed as a balancing act. Have a look at this report to understand the technicalities and the complexities of what Beijing is putting forward.
China has proposed a new peace framework for West Asia. The 4-point plan focuses on stability, cooperation, and long-term regional balance. The first pillar emphasizes peaceful coexistence, calling on countries in the region to avoid conflict and resolve disputes through dialogue. The second principle stresses respect for sovereignty, urging nations to avoid interference and actions that could escalate tensions. The third point focuses on aligning development and security. It highlights the need for economic growth and security policies to move forward together. The fourth pillar underscores adherence to international law, warning against selective application of global rules. The proposal calls for deeper cooperation among regional players, linking development goals with security frameworks to ensure long-term stability and calling for a rules-based international order. Xi Jinping cautioned against the weakening of global norms, saying that the world cannot return to a law of the jungle approach. The proposal comes amid renewed diplomatic activity as the United States and Iran prepare for another round of talks. At the same time, China has issued a strong warning to Washington, opposing any blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and interference in its ties with Iran. Beijing has reaffirmed its commitment to Tehran, stating Chinese vessels will continue operations despite rising tensions in the region.
Viewers, shifting focus next to a hottest point of contention, the world's jugular, Strait of Hormuz. And the big question, can US actually pull off a complete naval blockade of this strait? This after Trump says that the US Navy has now a complete control over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, our teams accessed exclusive details of US vessel deployment across Gulf. Reports also suggest multiple US ships present in the Strait of Hormuz have already begun their operations. Let us first show you through the elements, the Iranian defense and how well powered it is and how well can it stand against the US aggression. And then we show you the US's deployment that is reported in the West Asian waters. Viewers, on your screens right now, we're going to be talking about the defense that Iranians have been able to put forward in terms of standing against US's aggression in their own waters, by the way. So Iran is a multi-layered defense system. It starts with land-based missiles. Now these have long battery lives, and because of the long-standing Iranian shore, these battery lives, these missiles can be moved from one place to another to target various ships, warships, or even aircraft inside the waters. Now we're also talking about sea mines. US has been talking about it again and again. They are after clearing the sea mines of the West Asian waters, specifically in the Red Sea and Persian Gulf. There are smaller boats that lay these mines. They're very hard to surveil and to combat. It's very hard to even recognize where these mines have been placed. They also have attack drones. Now remember, Shahed tops the list, right? It is the cheapest drone to have been produced. In fact, many other countries have made clones of this drone because it's so lethal yet cost effective. But the US missiles that will be used to down the Shahed drones, extremely expensive and will punch a hole in the Pentagon's pocket. Now, they also have small boats. The number of these boats is not clear. It's nowhere to be found. So we can't really access or assess what is their capacity when it comes to small boats. And don't go by the name. This is an extremely lethal weapon that they have. Some of these boats are crewed, some are unmanned. But what makes it so different is that they are loaded with explosives. We also have submarines, and of course, we have seen Iranian submarine. In fact, their IRGC naval submarine being downed by the United States at the beginning of this war. But that doesn't mean that every submarine can be countered for. In fact, midget submarines, a smaller size submarine, is a major threat. Now, viewers, we're going to be looking at what is it that, the US has been planning to do. Where are their deployments based? What is it that US's aircraft carriers are looking to do? Now, the aircraft carriers that are in question, first we start with Abraham Lincoln, that is based in the Arabian Sea. That you can see is George H.W. Bush. Those are the two ships that you can see. This is the Arabian Sea. The George H.W. Bush, which is another aircraft carrier, is placed here. Abraham Lincoln, one of their biggest aircraft carriers, also placed right in the Arabian Sea waters. Now, in fact, we're going to look ahead, and that is US's Boxer, US's Gerald R. Ford, that remains in the Red Sea. Gerald R. Ford in the landlocked Red Sea right between Saudi Arabia, and you can also see US's Boxer right atop UAE. Now, George H.W. Bush, like we spoke about, right next to Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. These are all aircraft carriers of the United States. They can actually man not just aircraft but also a huge number of crews. Marines are deployed through these aircraft carriers. Now we're going to be talking about the guided missile DDGs. And the top of the list is USS Mahan, which is in the Red Sea. It has been placed in the Red Sea, in fact the landlocked area like we spoke about. We also have USS Bainbridge, which again is in the Red Sea. We also have USS Like we spoke about Bainbridge, we have there Winston S. Churchill, which is also placed in the Red Sea. So heavy deployment. US is now coming and enclosing in the Gulf from all sides possible, especially isolating Iran. Now we're also talking about US's coal, which remains in the Eastern Mediterranean. US's Balkale, that also remains in Eastern Mediterranean. And these are not the end of the list that we're speaking about. In fact, other than that, there are amphibious assault carriers as well. US's Boxer has been in the Persian Gulf since the beginning of this incursion. Just 1 week in, and Boxer was placed inside the West Asian waters. And this is not the only amphibious assault. US's Portland also remains in the Persian Gulf. Now remember, the US Navy is trying to cordon off the waters in and around Iran. And now the last one that we have is US's Comstock, which is also in the Persian Gulf. Now remember, US President Donald Trump also said that about 15 of the US's naval aircraft warriors, their ships, their amphibious assault carriers have been placed in the waters across West Asia. Viewers, now moving on to the top story of this hour, South Africa. Now this comes as US has barred South Africa from G20. That is to be held towards the end of this year. Now this comes after the continued tensions between Trump and Ramaphosa on a prosecution of Christians in South Africa continues to embroil. Let us first explain this conflict through elements and know how Germany has come in the middle of all of this. Take a look. Now viewers, South Africa has been offered a climate loan which has been approved by Germany and in fact also the European Union. The estimated number that we have in hand is about $231 million in climate loans that Germany has approved for Ramaphosa. Now Germany and South Africa have also decided to deepen cooperation over various energy sectors. Now remember, European Union support, German support for South Africa for Ramaphosa comes at a time when Trump's discord with Ramaphosa is only deepening by the day. Now viewers, Donald Trump also unleashed a storm against Ramaphosa. He said multiple things against the South African president and the country itself. In fact, these are some tweets that we're showing you from the last entire year, 2025, where he has said some deplorable things about South Africa. Now he says that it's a total disgrace that South Africa has been holding this entire G20 and that no US government official will reach South Africa for any of these conferences. Viewers, that's all that we could wrap for you in this edition of The World at War. But don't miss it. At the end, we're also bringing you visuals of how North Korea has now carried out cruise and ballistic missile tests for their navy. In fact, their president, Kim Jong-un, goes so far to say that nuclear deterrence remains their key focus. We're getting you those visuals and we're leaving you with them. Take a look.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bengaluru.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है। स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
We are entering a very dangerous inflection point in this war. From here in onwards, either things could escalate beyond control or there could be a surprise ceasefire. He is very fond of trying to make the world hang on to his every word, pearls of wisdom, but the last speech was a great disappointment. Everybody was hoping that he would announce an off-ramp, a ceasefire, and then finish this war, because the world is sick and tired of the shenanigans of Donald Trump and his mad capers, his insane wars in the Middle East, which have created a global economic disaster which will worsen by the day, by every day that this war continues beyond its use-by date. It is only heading towards greater destruction of the global economy. The simple fact is,
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on Republic TV. You're watching This Is Exclusive. I'm Niranjan. Ladies and gentlemen, the story from Nasik, Maharashtra of the grooming gang. The grooming gang at one of India's largest companies, most reputed companies called TCS, has shocked everyone across the country, with victims revealing the kind of horror that was hidden over the years. For almost 5 to 6 years, none of this was reported, despite being escalated at a leading IT company. It's no less than the grooming gangs of UK, and we have some explosive details on the show this evening. First up, the headlines tonight. More and more details come out, more victims speak out on the grooming gangs within the TCS facility in Nasik, Maharashtra. TCS says its COO will lead the investigations. Questions over transparency as TCS decides to investigate TCS itself. Nine victims go on record in the Nasik grooming gang case. Sexual assault, stalking, molestation, attack on Hindu gods. It was all happening on the TCS campus. Despite the government agreeing to demands of workers, fresh cases of violence and arson reported in several areas of Delhi NCR, the rioting continues. A toolkit emerges in Delhi NCR riot case. Republic accesses WhatsApp chats, audio tapes, exposing how people were mobilized for a riot in Delhi NCR. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get to the details of the grooming gangs of India, grooming gangs from Nasik, Maharashtra, inside the TCS, there is one mystery woman who's still on the run. And today we're getting you the details of the lady who's called Lady Captain. Her name is Nida Khan. And she's referred to as Lady Captain. And her role is now under scanner, believed to be central to the grooming gangs in Nasik, Maharashtra. The accused, Nida Khan, was an employee at TCS. 2 police teams are currently hunting for her. She's the accused in an alleged grooming gang case. 2 teams are conducting a continuous search operation. Her mobile phones are switched off. Her location currently untraced. The police believe that Nida Khan's arrest could lead to bigger revelations on who else was a part of this racket, the grooming gang racket. The police team have conducted raids at several hideouts, possible hideouts. Her arrest is expected, but so far, Nida Khan has not been arrested yet. Now, she was one of the many who were part of the grooming gangs in Nasik, Maharashtra. Then we go across to Revati joining us live on the broadcast. Revati has details of the role of Nida Khan and the role of the lady who was referred to as Lady Captain. And she's central to the entire racket, to the entire grooming gang. In fact, as we get to these details, getting in some more breaking news updates that are coming in, let's go across straight to that. The next breaking is of the different accounts of the victims, and we have exclusive details of the accounts of these victims at TCS, most of them, all of them rather, Hindu women who spoke out in detail of what they had to endure on the TCS campus. Let's get you some of the details, ladies and gentlemen. As we speak, 9 of them have gone on record, and we could be getting more inputs. More and more of them will be going on record. All of the victims speaking off record, saying that they were targeted by the grooming gang. They were told how Hinduism is bad. They even escalated it to the HR manager, who then refused to help them. And all of them saying that they were sexually either harassed, molested inside the TCS campus. They were sexually harassed even during work hours. Some saying that they were forced to recite namaz, eat meat, and their religion was attacked. And one victim, who we are identifying just as victim number 7, saying that they followed her, they harassed her on campus. They targeted her as part of a WhatsApp group, and they went after her. Similarly, they tried to physically molest, assault women sexually, passing comments on campus, targeting women of Hindu religion, specifically Hindu women, who were also targeted during work hours. We have the pictures. Look at the pictures, ladies and gentlemen. The pictures of Danish Sheikh. Their names are with us, the TCS grooming gang. Danish Sheikh, Tausif Attar, Raza Memon, Shahrukh Qureshi, Asif Ansari, Shafi Sheikh, Nida Khan and Ashwini Chenani. All of them were part of the grooming gang. We have their names as a graphic as well. We'll pull out all the graphics and play them. And let's also tell you that we tried to reach out. Now, if all of this was happening at the TCS campus, what was TCS doing? What was the TCS management doing? Let me go across to Revati, joining us with some of the details. Revati, tell us what TCS has said on record so far. In fact, we had written a mail to them. They have not responded. I have details of that mail coming up next, breaking on the show. But first up, what is the company saying on record? They can't wash their hands off saying it's a serious issue.
Right, the TCS has issued a statement last evening, which is a delayed statement actually, but the statement says that there's a zero tolerance policy in violence against women harassment at workplace. But again, this is a delayed statement that is coming up from the TCS. Also, they have said that there is an internal investigation going on for this particular matter. Also, they have suspended the accused who are involved in all this. Also, they have asked the new recruitments not to come to the office. And now there is a talk within the IT firm that TCS Nashik might leave Nashik and the BPO might shut down forever. But also we have got some inputs on what was the role of these accused at the particular BPO. So the Danish Sheikh was at the position of an associate since 2018. Tausif Attar was also an associate since 2017. Raza Memon was a team leader since 2017 in TCS. Shahrukh Hussain Qureshi was an associate since 2017. Also, Asif Alam Aftab Alam Ansari was an associate since 2024. Nida Khan was an associate since 2021. And Ashwini Chenani was an operation head, and she was operational from the Pune location. So, the most important thing I want to highlight here is that Ashwini Chenani, who is currently under the police custody right now, she was the also committee member of POSH of the entire TCS working in Maharashtra. Let me repeat that. She was at the position of a committee member of POSH committee of entire TCS Maharashtra, yet she didn't take any cognizance of this particular matter. Currently, the matter is under investigation by the SIT formed by Nashik Police. And also, the most important thing here to highlight is that the CCTV footages also, along with the CCTV footages, other bank account details of these accused are being currently scrutinized, and then it will come to light that whether it was any externally funded activity or it was just a mere forceful conversion, which was an idea of these particular accused. Tomorrow, all these accused will be presented before the Nashik court, and then only the role of Ashwini Chenani, that why didn't she took any cognizance of this matter, will come to the light. Over to you.
Okay, stay with me, because we also tried writing, an email to TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. We tried writing to them. We asked them a set of questions, at least 8 to 10 questions shot by Republic TV to the TCS management. Not a single response given. We were in fact waiting for a response, but none came in. We asked them why and for how long this went on. We asked... This is, by the way, the statement of TCS. The statement of TCS. Complaints and allegations. Now, this is what the statement by N. Chandrasekharan, the chairman of Tata Sons, says, that complaints and allegations emerging are gravely concerning and anguishing. And then he says that this incident is being treated with the utmost seriousness. Typical statement being given, corporate statement, while saying that an internal investigation is going to be held to establish the facts. So the TCS, despite what the police have found out undercover, saying that their own investigation will be conducted, and that investigation will be conducted to identify individuals. And they've also named Aarti Subramaniam, who's reportedly the chief operating officer at TCS, who will lead that investigation. Now, we also wrote to TCS a series of questions, and we asked them whether there was a delayed acknowledgement in this particular matter. And then when we first approached TCS, we asked them why there was a denial that nothing of this sort had happened in TCS Nasik. Our third question to TCS was on the statement which was issued by TCS saying that there is a zero tolerance policy against women harassment at workplace, and how did a delayed cognizance take place in this matter? And we also asked them about suspending the accused employees and whether they will be compensating with any sort of compensation the victims, and whether they will be taking any further action against the employees of the organization. A whole set of questions for which there has been no response given by TCS so far. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what is going on, how did this story come out? If it was happening for years together, how was it not reported in the first place? This is how it happened. We have the inside details of the undercover operations that busted this grooming gang. 7 to 8 women officers posed as TCS employees, and the police undercover team encountered the grooming gang, and that's when they got complaints. That's how they started to investigate, and it was they who found out that there was truth to what the victims had alleged. My colleague Revati has the full details. Revati, of course, we can't name the officers, but what do we know about how long this operation went on? What were they looking for? And what did they find out in the course of this investigation?
Right, Nashik police played an important role in this matter because this particular matter was brought to light only and only by Nashik police. They were tipped off by a person which on condition of anonymity said that there's something happening. He literally said something is happening in TCS. A person who he knew personally is facing such forceful activities in TCS Nashik, and that's when a team of 7 to 8 women police officers were formed by the Nashik police, which was of course headed by the CP of Nashik police, Mr. Sandeep Karnik, and then they were sent to the TCS Nashik, posed as either staff, cleaning staff, or the person who is actually working there at the BPO. So when they observed everything, when they realized that these forceful activities were carried out at TCS Nashik, namaz was offered at on the terrace. Also, they were forcefully asked to consume meat. Also, they were asked to follow the rituals which they usually do in the month of Ramzan. All these things were observed by the police, and then they started approaching the victims. They started approaching actually female employees of that BPO, and that's when they could find 11 such cases, out of which 9 are of sexual assault and 2 are of forceful conversion. They, Nashik police, or these 7 to 8 women officers, literally approached every female employee and got the information, and that's how this particular incident came to light, and that's how this particular matter was uncovered. Over to you.
Okay, thank you for joining us with all those details, Revati. In fact, one of the mother of one of the accused in this particular case was asked a few questions on whether they had any idea. Now, we're putting out all sides of the story. Here's what the mother of one of the accused of grooming in Nasik, Maharashtra said when asked by the media.
तौसीफ बेकसूर है, तौसीफ को कुछ पता नहीं, ना हमारे कुछ पता है।
लेकिन बोल रहे हैं वही मास्टरमाइंड है, उसी ने फंसाया सबको।
झूठ बोल रहे, सब झूठ बोल रहे।
धर्मांतरण किया बोल रहे, जबरदस्ती।
नहीं, कभी मैं कब नहीं करूंगी। मेरा बच्चा ड्यूटी से घर, ऐसा कभी कुछ नहीं। वो लड़की को पूछो ना, वो लड़की झूठ बोल रही। वो लड़की तो क्यों नहीं सुन रहे सब? वो लड़की झूठ बोल रही।
आपको लगता है उसको फंसाया जा रहा है?
तौसीफ को फंसाया जा रहा है।
क्यों? लेकिन
ठीक ही क्या है फिर? 2023 की गवर्नमेंट किसने किया, किसने, जब वो पता नहीं, फिर आप ही क्यों कर रही हो?
आपकी तौसीफ से कुछ बात हुई, उसका क्या कहना है?
कुछ नहीं मेरे से बात, ना मिलन दे रहे, ना बात करने दे रहे।
लेकिन आप जब वो घर पे था तो आपको कभी ऐसा लगा कि तौसीफ ऐसा कुछ कर सकता है?
नहीं, कभी नहीं। तौसीफ ऐसा है ही नहीं।
Continues to be a top focus, will also be debated by Arnab at 9 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about the grooming gangs, another story that caught our attention and we accessed some exclusive details of was of the pattern of riots, the pattern of riots in Delhi NCR. There is a riot toolkit. If you look at how this violence unfolded in Delhi NCR, not in one city, not in 2 cities, different cities in the Delhi NCR region. Simultaneously, at the same time, and you had garment, it started with garment factory workers. We were told they were garment factory workers who didn't get their salary, were unhappy with the owners, didn't get salary on time, etc. It wasn't as simple as that. Then why were, in some other city, in some other state, somebody else protesting? Now, despite the government of Uttar Pradesh agreeing to the demands, violence spread today in Delhi NCR. And we found out that there could be an angle of conspiracy. We've accessed WhatsApp chats, audio tapes that were circulated, that were doing the rounds. I'd like to play out those WhatsApp chats that indicate how there could have been an angle of conspiracy, planning to the entire riot toolkit. Let's play that out. Take a look at that. That's a chat that was accessed by Republic, where they're discussing not just about lathis, asking for people to carry chili powder with them. Why? Because they are going to encounter the police. And they are asking for mass mobilization, asking for people to gather and carry not sticks or stones, not just sticks or stones, but chili powder, and asking for people to gather in large numbers outside societies, outside factories. Now, all of this was happening. There's also an audio tape. Let's play that audio tape out.
कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है? कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है? कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है?
In this particular audio tape, they discuss how they need to injure the police, target the police, attack the police. It is clear that they were planning riots like we've seen in Delhi in the year 2020. 2020 riots, very, very similar toolkit being used in 2026. Harsh is joining us live with more details. Harsh, if the demands were met, no reason why protests spread again today. But it's bizarre how this has spread in different cities, in different states, similar messaging. It's not possible, even if you say labor unions are responsible, it's impossible that they carried out a campaign as such on digital and on social media.
In fact, we have accessed the exclusive WhatsApp screenshots which clearly mentioned that they were saying to deliberately pass on proactive messages that ultimately led to the protest.
Poor audio line there with Harsh, so I'll just, I'll try and see if I can reconnect. But that's the message that was doing the rounds. And in these groups that were created, where thousands of people were on these groups, these messages were spread. And it started with salaries of garment workers, started with sound bites of garment workers saying that they're underpaid and that their pay needs to be increased. And across different states like Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. Now, it spread to different states, spread to different cities, and despite the demands being met, the protests continue to spread today. And the audio tapes, the chats indicate and confirm that there was an element of planning, an element of conspiracy, element of mass mobilization. I'd like to play that out once again. The audio tape that was shared by those who were behind it. The Yogi government, by the way, claims that there could be a Pakistan angle to it.
कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है? कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है? हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है?
So those were the audio tapes and chats that we had time for on this edition of This Is Exclusive. In a state like Uttar Pradesh, where you have Yogi Adityanath as the Chief Minister has a reputation of being a no-nonsense chief minister and known for his bulldozer style. Will these rioters get away? Now, we are sure this story is going to get bigger in the days to come. That's it on this edition of This Is Exclusive. Thanks for watching.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
खनीज घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
अभी तो कह रहा था कि अभी चीफ मिनिस्टर कह रहे थे, उससे आगे भी सभी लोग कह रहे थे कि मणिपुर में पीस आ गया। ये पीस है क्या? अगर ये पीस है तो हमें ये पीस नहीं चाहिए हमें।
ये बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट 1:05 में हुआ है। उसमें 2 बच्चे का जान गया है। 2 बच्चा एक 5 साल का है, एक लड़की है वो तो 5 महीना का है। ये बहुत छह इंसिडेंट है। उसका माँ भी अभी भी इंजर्ड है, हॉस्पिटल में ट्रीटमेंट के लिए घायल तरीके से इंजर्ड है। ये आतंकवादी लोग हम लोग को टारगेट कर रहा है, मैतेई लोग को। इसलिए सरकार से विनती है जल्द से ये घटना के सॉल्यूशन चाहिए, इसके लिए इंसाफ चाहिए।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
खनीज घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Director, the taste of success.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी every day.
We are entering a very dangerous inflection point in this war. From here in onwards, either things could escalate beyond control or there could be a surprise ceasefire. He is very fond of trying to make the world hang on to his every word, pearls of wisdom, but the last speech was a great disappointment. Everybody was hoping that he would announce an off-ramp, a ceasefire, and then finish this war, because the world is sick and tired of the shenanigans of Donald Trump and his mad capers, his insane wars in the Middle East, which have created a global economic disaster which will worsen by the day, by every day that this war continues beyond its use-by date. It is only heading towards greater destruction of the global economy. The simple fact is, Donald Trump used the worst expletives possible to show his frustration, to show his extreme annoyance and irritation at Iran as to why Iran...
You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra. Now viewers, our top focus at this hour is about what's happening in Nasik. Now at TCS firm in Nasik, several revelations have come to light, very concerning revelations now revealed by Hindu victims. Now people have broken their silence, coming out and telling their stories how they were forced to adopt Islamic practices and were sexually exploited by their own employees. Now we'll get you all the details on that, but first up a quick check at the headlines. As more testimonies of victims in Nasik grooming gang scandal come to light, pattern of corporate jihad now emerges. TCS says it's a COO to lead the investigation in corporate jihad case. Questions now emerge over transparency as TCS to probe its own self. 9 victims in Nasik case go public with their detailed allegations. Instances of harassment, abuse, molestation come to light. Despite the government agreeing to demands of workers, a fresh case of violence and arson reported in several areas of Delhi NCR. Toolkit emerges in Delhi NCR riot case. The public now accesses WhatsApp chats and audios showing how people were mobilized for inciting unrest. Now viewers, our top focus at this hour. A major controversy has erupted in Nasik. This is where a leading IT firm is now at the center of a serious allegations of workplace harassment and forced conversion racket. Now viewers, what began as internal complaints has now escalated into a full-scale criminal investigation with multiple Hindu victims now coming forward and detailing a disturbing pattern of corporate jihad. Now, several women employees have alleged that they were targeted, manipulated and then pressured over time, raising questions about a possible organized nexus at play. Now, the police have constituted a special investigation team with accused employees are now being suspended and several taken into custody as well. The big question now emerges, is this a complaint just about workplace harassment, or is this a bigger racket of conversion as well as sexual harassment and now at play at TCS? We'll get you all the details in this detailed report. Shocking testimonies from Hindu victims are now revealing the disturbing pattern behind the Nasik grooming gang scandal. Multiple women have alleged harassment, coercion and attempts of forced conversion inside the workplace. Victims allege they were targeted, manipulated and pressured over time, pointing to a possible organized pattern. Meanwhile, the family of the main accused has denied all allegations. The accused is a mother, claims he is innocent, alleges charges against him are false. The case revolves around a major controversy over corporate jihad that was unfolded in Nasik. This is where a top IT firm is at the center of a chilling controversy. What started as workplace harassment complaints turned and snowballed into a full-blown criminal investigation. Chairman of Tata Sons called the allegations deeply concerning. The company reiterates a zero-tolerance policy. Serious allegations of workplace harassment and organized misconduct are now under investigation. The SIT is now examining the CCTV footage as all accused employees have now been suspended. Accused' movement, bank statements and personal details all are under lens right now. Company's top HR has been arrested. And during court hearings yesterday, it was revealed that even though Nida Khan was the member of the posh committee meant to protect women, she supported the accused and enabled this crime. It was further revealed that 78 emails and 22 phone calls were exchanged between the main accused, Asif, Ansar and the other suspects. The court has now remanded 2 additional days of police custody. A secret WhatsApp group, just 8 to 10 members, allegedly the control room of this entire operation. The entire operation was orchestrated through a hunting list. According to sources, photographs of some of the young female employees were also shared on this very group. The police suspect that this group was created specifically to identify soft targets from a hunting list and to plot their entrapment. The investigation has also revealed that numerous chat logs and the history of this WhatsApp group have now been deleted. The Nasik police are now seeking the assistance of a forensic laboratory to recover these deleted messages. As the investigation now deepens, more shocking truths are now being disclosed. And now viewers, what began as a workers' protest over unpaid salaries in Noida has now snowballed into a major law and order situation, with fresh evidence now pointing towards a possible pre-planned conspiracy behind this violence in Delhi NCR. Now, explosive details have been accessed by Republic, which suggest that external elements may have infiltrated the protests. Now, with the district magistrate himself, in fact, acknowledging their involvement in these Protest investigations have now uncovered WhatsApp groups allegedly used to mobilize crowds just overnight. Now, this is where provocative messages were circulated and participants were added using QR codes. Now, viewers, the violence which saw mobs storming company premises, torching vehicles and attacking police personnel has so far led to detention of over 300 people, with multiple FIRs now being registered. Officials are also probing the role of organized groups, with some detained individuals now linked to these anti-social activities across states. So with the protests rapidly turning from a wage dispute to large-scale unrest, serious questions are now being raised. Was this spontaneous anger or a coordinated attempt to disrupt industrial stability in the region? Take a look at this report.
What began as a workers' protest in Noida has now taken a serious turn, with fresh evidence suggesting that the violence was coordinated and pre-planned. The Noida District Magistrate has confirmed the presence of external elements, even as investigators uncover WhatsApp chats used to mobilize and provoke crowds. Investigations have now uncovered explosive WhatsApp chats indicating the groups were used to mobilize and radicalize protesters overnight.
Some investigation and preliminary inquiry reports are already with us, and that has hinted at a deep-rooted conspiracy against this labor agitation. This is not a normal spontaneous labor agitation. There are factors behind this who have been instigating them by the use of technology. During the last 3 days, a very certain number of WhatsApp groups have been made using technology. Certain social media accounts and handles have been created. Most of them are bot, and generic responses are being broadcast on those social media handles.
Over 300 people have been detained so far, with 7 FIRs registered and multiple hotspots identified across the region. Authorities are also probing possible links to organized groups, with some detained individuals having records of antisocial activities across states. What initially began as protests over unpaid dues quickly spiraled into large-scale violence. In another revelation, an explosive audio clip has now surfaced, allegedly revealing premeditated intent behind the violence. In the clip, a person can be heard calling for an attack on police personnel and mobilizing people to gather early the next morning.
कल भाई पुलिस वालों पर हमला करना है, लाठी चार्ज दोबारा से पुलिस वालों पे होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमारे बहुत बहन भाई घायल हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो जल्दी सुबह आने की कृपा करें, ठीक है?
Employees claim months of unpaid salaries, which push them to the brink, triggering the protests, raising slogans against the management, blocking the roads and disrupting movements across the area. Vehicles were set ablaze. Police responded with tear gas and lathi charge to bring the situation under control. Clashes between protesters and police intensified, even as security forces moved in to contain the violence. Even as calm is being restored, serious questions remain over how the protest turned violent so rapidly. With evidence pointing to coordinated mobilization and planning, agencies are now probing a larger conspiracy angle behind the violence.
Now viewers, shifting focus to another story that's making a headline. Now, after a failed first round of high-stakes negotiation, the US and Iran now appear set to return to the table for another